Most people don't see the alternator as a component on the vehicle that would cause drivability issues like stalling or rough idle, but if you look in the factory service manual on this particular car, it talks about low voltage in almost every system, mainly because the electronic control module controls the fuel delivery system, but it doesn't know what the fuel pressure is. It only sees voltage. It sees low voltage as a rich condition or a lean condition, depending on what it's looking at. So it tries to adjust that air-fuel ratio, that 14:7 air-fuel ratio, based on the voltage that it sees. This is the original Delco Remy alternator 17SI. It's 108 amp. I sent this out and had it rebuilt because I wanted to try to keep a lot of the, if possible, keep the stock parts, but this is a 108 amp alternator. Again, Delco Remy. Was in the car when it came off the assembly line. But this alternator at 108 amps is more than enough to power all the motors on the car without any problem at all, even if they were running all at the same time. But there's quite a few motors on the car, you know, as long as they're operating good, you know, and the motors aren't dragging or getting old and worn out, you know, it shouldn't have any problem running the car. The car's full of motors, cooling fan, fuel pump, power windows, power seats, windshield wiper, blower motor. But yeah, those are like really good alternators right there. That one's been really good to me. It's never left me on the side of the road. But I like to fool around with the car a lot. I like to work on it, and I'll put the motors on the car through some amp tests and stuff like that, just to work on it, because I'm actually as happy working underneath the hood as I am driving the car down the road. So I picked up this 30 amp circuit tester at Harbor Freight. I basically I wanted to look at some of the amp draws on the car. Particularly, I was interested in the amp draw off the fan, the cooling fan motor. There's several motors on the car: the blower fan motor, the fuel pump motor, windshield wiper motor. The wiper motor is a 25 amp fuse. The wiper motor, depending on the speed, should draw about 4 or 5 amps. Maybe if it's pumping fluid onto the windshield, you might draw another, trying to get this to focus, you might draw another 2 or 3 amps maybe if you're pumping fluid. If it's a dry windshield, you might draw a little bit more. But what you do is you pull the fuse out of a circuit. It's a windshield wiper. You just put the fuse that you remove, you just put it in the fuse holder on the tester, and then you take the tester and plug it into the fuse that you took it out of. Turn the tester on. Like right now we're looking at the windshield wiper motor, so turn the windshield wiper on. You're drawing about 8, on a dry windshield, about 8.5 amps. It's a fairly easy tester to use. Just plug it into a circuit, take the fuse out that you want to test out of the fuse box panel, plug it into this adapter, and then turn on that circuit. You can see what amperage your motors are drawing. You can also do the same thing on the fan blower motor. You want to know what the amp. That's on medium. That's on high because it bypasses the resistors on the blower motor. Fuel pump should draw about around 3 amps on a TBI, a throttle body injection fuel pump. Stock should draw about 3 amps. .8. Yeah, you can look up those specs on the blower motor or the windshield wiper motor and see what the amp draw should be, and then you can compare it to what you've got. It's all in the factory service manual, so. But it's just a handy little tool to check different circuits on the car.